So it seems Jez Corden came out and made a statement saying that Xbox won't have any exclusives going forward. Everything is timed exclusive at most. This means games like Fable, Perfect Dark, Halo, Gears, Forza, their tentpole titles, Starfield, are all PlayStation bound. But is there any truth to it? Microsoft has said nothing about this, and I'm not going to say that Jez is a BSing person, because he does get a lot of things right. He has the contacts, and there, if we're looking at his got it right and got it wrong ratio, he's way higher on the got it right than he is on the got it wrong. So I'm not going to discredit him in that way, because I don't think that's fair. He isn't a mind reader. Business plans can change. But you know what? Let's have the drop and let's get into it. But should come in the first months of 2025 at most. Meaning it's going to... Alright, so we have it here. On December the 13th, Jez said Xbox won't have exclusives going forward. Everything is timed exclusive at most. Now, Riskit says if this is true, Xbox needs hardware that eats 4090s for breakfast, which we all know is not going to happen. Now, Jez said they're working on some pretty crazy stuff. Will be interesting to see if they pull it off. Now, that could be anything, but it all comes down to the question from Bleedso. Serious question, why am I buying this console? And I think that's a very valid question in the grand scheme of things. Now, people are going to say, well, Game Pass is the best place to play. I agree. It saved me a metric ton of money, especially this year where money was really tight for me. This year has been amazing in how much money I've saved on gaming. Like, it's astronomical. So, for me, Game Pass is definitely the place to be and the best place to be for gaming. But here's the thing. I can do that on my PC. I don't need to go and buy an Xbox console to do that. Now, people are going to say, well, it's got quick resume. I'm sure they can implement that on PC as well. If they really wanted to, they could do it. It's not outside of their realm of reach. But you know what? Quick resume is cool, but that's not a selling feature for a console. What sells a console is exclusives. I think we can all agree on this. If you're just going to sell, say, Game Pass, like I said, a PC will do you just fine, and it'll be cheaper as well because your games are actually, Game Pass PC, which has all of those day one games, is cheaper. And now that all of the third-party deals are being released on PC as well, and you're getting more PC games on there as well, the value of that is increasing. Now, of course, the big selling point for the console isn't the new games, it's the backwards compatibility. And if that doesn't matter to you, the console loses value extraordinarily. So this is something that Microsoft needs to fix. Now, obviously, this is an Xbox, is the current kind of slogan. That is the plan. I really do apologize for all the cuts you're seeing. I am coughing really badly. I'm not very well. I'm guessing you can see that anyway. But the whole "This is Xbox" slogan means that Asus ROG Ally, Steam Deck, whatever. Anything that can actually run the cloud is an Xbox. Anything that can install natively PC Xbox games is an Xbox. Anything that's a console that can install Xbox games, the whole catalog, all the day one releases, is an Xbox. And this is why PlayStation didn't factor into that commercial, because it doesn't have games like Halo. It's not there. But what Jez is saying here is Xbox won't have exclusives going forward. Everything is timed exclusive at most. Having at least timed exclusivity is some incentive, but 3 months isn't really that long to wait. You need kind of like a year. But I know there's going to be people in my comments that are saying, well, why are you opposed to people playing games? Why are you opposed to people playing... You know what? I followed Riskit. Why did that unfollow? Why are you opposed to more people playing games? No. That's not what I'm opposed to. I think, if all the companies were sharing their games, it's fair play. But as of right now, and this is no shade to Jez at all, because I think he's a very knowledgeable guy and is a really stand-up person. Spoken to him a number of times actually, and we've always had good conversations. I think he's not in a position to say that yet. And I say yet, because it could be going that way. Especially with the way Microsoft is setting everything up. If it's on Game Pass, if those Game Pass subscriptions don't increase, then they need to get that money somewhere. So it makes sense that they're going to look out to get more. They need that Game Pass subscription to increase. And it's, at the moment, we don't know if it has. Now, Call of Duty was said to have a number of, the biggest increase in day one subscribers for a game. And hopefully when the new report comes out, we'll know more about that. But all of this factors into how Microsoft handled this. And whether it's brought in new players, new subscriptions, has it sustained those new subscriptions? Because right now for Microsoft, at least on the Xbox, sure, people are buying games because I buy games all the time on the Xbox ecosystem. But if the subscribers are not staying and the number is stagnated, then it's showing that Game Pass as a service isn't growing the way they wanted it to. And at that point, they need to look elsewhere. Now, if it's growing, then the fastest way to grow your Game Pass subscription is through the base console. We all know this. Everyone knows this. You buy an Xbox console, you buy it with Game Pass, right? Even if it's just Game Pass standard, you buy it with a Game Pass so you can get those games and play those games. That's just the way it is. But I just don't think that this statement is entirely true, at least right now. And until Microsoft come out and openly say that no game, the whole red line thing, whatever they want to say, I don't care about that. I've already discussed that in my previous video. That's just a get out of jail free card for them. The case by case is clearly what they were saying. What Matt Booty said in the latest interview in the Variety article that I've done a video on as well. And clearly what they're doing here is looking at games that they believe will have a small impact because it's got a niche audience, and then pushing that out to a wider audience to get the maximum impact. I get that. But I still feel, as of right now, that their core games and their core IPs, like Halo, like Gears, like Starfield, Fable, Perfect Dark, will remain on Xbox. Now, if it doesn't, because I know this is going to get clipped, and it's going to be held aside in some pony dungeon for a while, and then brought out when potentially another game goes from the list I've mentioned, things will change. And I think you'll find a lot of people having different thoughts. But then you look at this. PlayStation is so petty. This is something that I raised yesterday. Microsoft's page has all of this, and then PlayStation has this. And I think Microsoft should actually mandate that if you are going to use our games on your webpage, you need to put the Xbox platform on there as well. You can leave out Steam if you really want to, but you need to put our platform on there. And I think Microsoft should mandate that. And if Sony doesn't like it, they simply just don't advertise it. It's that simple. No harm, no foul. But you see Colt Eastwood here saying that PlayStation is petty. I don't believe that they are petty. They know that they can get away with it. They know it's business. We know that, you've got the Tim Stewarts and the Amy Hoods and the Satya Nadellas, who are basically spreadsheet pushers, right? They all they care about is the return of interest. They don't care about the legacy of Xbox. They don't care about the fan base. They don't care about the people who stood by it since the beginning in 2001. They don't care about any of those people. I do believe that Phil does, right? I believe he does. And I do believe that Matt Booty also cares about exclusivity. And I think that he's one of the people that actually really gets annoyed with this whole thing. But the pencil pushers are running the show now. And honestly, I think Microsoft is basically being mocked in front of everyone. And they're just allowing it. But that aside, if what Jez Corden is saying is true, then if we go back to that question, why am I buying this console? The answer is for your backwards compatibility. Or if you don't like PCs, Xbox is your platform. Do you honestly believe that the next Xbox that is going to chew out the 4090 and it's going to be reasonably priced at $700, $800? If it's chewing out the 4090, you're looking at a £1,200, £1,300, £1,500 machine. Maybe subsidized down to $1,200 minimum. That's a lot of money for a console. Consoles are, you're pushing what a console should be outside of the console range, and it's just becoming too expensive. But I just don't feel like this is the right way that they're doing things. They're just basically allowing Sony to walk all over them, and I don't understand why. But this, what Jez Corden said, they're working on some pretty crazy stuff. Well, show it to us. In the February business update, they said that they were going to have something to show for us at the end of the year. Another lie from Camp Xbox. I know there's like a week and a bit left, and maybe they will show it. And then I'll come make another video and say, you know what? I'm stupid and I was wrong. They clearly stuck to their words. But do you honestly believe now, after the Game Awards, the biggest show in the world, the one that had over 1 million eyes on it concurrently, right? 1 million viewers, that wasn't the best place to show your new hardware or new surprise or new thing, and you're just going to post it onto social media where you just don't have the same reach anymore? I don't know. Looking at it from a business standpoint, you tell me which one makes more sense. But if we're looking at what Jez said here, Xbox won't have exclusives. I just personally, don't think this is true. Time will tell if I am proven right or wrong. But I just don't feel like this right now is true. And until Microsoft actually come out and say, hey, we will still have a console. It'll be, Game Pass will be having day and date. But there is no exclusives anymore. Everything is going to go day and date to PC, PlayStation, Switch, whatever. Or whatever console that wants to come around, the Steam control console. If they come out and say that, fine. You know what? At least they've made their position clear. And happy days. Everyone at least then can just shut up about it and we can all move on with our lives. But I just don't feel like... I want to say he's not in a position to make this claim. He's making this claim based on stuff he's seen. But we all know that saying something like this is inflammatory. And I have a lot of respect for Jez, but there is no evidence to say everything is going. Even if we look at the Outer Worlds, if you go back to what I said, niche games, Outer Worlds is a super niche game. It didn't light the world on fire with the original, and it's not going to do the same with the sequel. I think it's wrong that Microsoft lied to their community because people bought games exclusives. I mean, let me show you this one thing. I think this point here sums it up just right? This gen, I bought both consoles because I thought the Bethesda games would be exclusive to Xbox. Now that Xbox lied about next gen, I'm only getting a PlayStation. Do you see how this is evolving? It's pushing more people away from the console. Today I was down Bexley Heath, which is a town in London, and I went into the game shop and there were people talking there as I was overhearing them saying that these Xbox games are exclusive to PlayStation. Doom is exclusive to PlayStation. Now these are just random casuals that don't know their right from the left when it comes to the gaming world. But that is the mentality that they've got. And they've probably seen the Sony video that advertises it to PS5 only and come to that conclusion. But if the average consumer has that sort of mentality, Xbox is going wrong somewhere really, really badly. So it's not just here on social media that people are saying this. This is something that's happening, in the outside world with the super normies. And I feel that Microsoft needs to fix that. And with Jez coming out and making those sorts of statements, I think it just adds to the overall, how can I say it? You're kind of adding wood to a burning building. It's a saying that I have in my culture. It basically burns the flame, it burns faster. You're adding gasoline to a fire. And it doesn't help because it doesn't send the right message out. When Xbox hasn't said anything different, people look at the media and they will listen to what the media is saying. And there will be articles written about what Jez has said. And those people that just check out IGN are going to look at that and say, well, why should I buy an Xbox? And so indirectly, it's doing more damage to the brand. But ultimately, it falls on Microsoft to fix it. So do I think that there's going to be no more exclusives? No, I don't. I think there will be. At least until Microsoft come out and say there won't be. So as far as I'm concerned, it's game on as usual. But when it comes to the ABK games and the ZeniMax games that are existing IP, it's always going to be a case-by-case basis with the notion that it's more likely to go than not. But for those that are not existing IPs, like Starfield, then they are most likely going to stay. Or those that have historically always been Xbox are most likely to stay. I think Forza going, if it does go, will be the biggest telltale sign that things are rapidly changing. Because at that point, I don't think anything else will be sacred. But time will tell. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion, and I will see you in the next one. Remain legend.